Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. This is a unique and special one because we've got the Modern Mortgage Summit coming up soon, which is going to be really a spectacular celebration of modern mortgage professionals and modern real estate professionals. So we want to center today's call, the main topic. Of course, any questions you have, bring it. But we're always coming up with, like, how can we help our community of loan officers get more meetings with realtors? Like, getting a meeting, having a conversation with an agent is the seed of everything when it comes to purchase first marketplace. And then how can we get more referrals from them, and how can we get more market share? So we're going to talk a lot about how you can use the Modern Mortgage and Modern Real Estate Summit to do that. Deborah Bird came up. Deborah, that was your idea, right? Today's call.
It was. Well, Adam and I have been talking just kind of behind the scenes, getting ready for the summits. And, we're 1 month, a little less than a month out. And this is typically when I know in the years past when clients have reached out and they need a little bit of help of what those micro steps are that need to be done kind of pre-event, which we're right in that hot zone. And then, also how to take the opportunity during the event and then optimize post-event strategy. So Adam and I have been brainstorming behind the scenes and getting ready for our next TikTok debut once we're all together, right?
All right, looking
Adam?
forward to that. Yeah.
I've been working on my dance moves, so.
All right, guys. For anyone who doesn't know who Adam is the co-founder of Win by Noon. Todd is usually the face, the public face, whether it's on a stage, whether it's on a webinar. But Adam is super smart. And he's the one that makes it all happen. So Adam, welcome to this. Is this the first time you've been on the Mortgage Coach channel?
This is my first time. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, and Dave stole my thunder in my introduction of Adam. And so let me just add a little additional color on who Adam is so that you all understand why I'm so excited that he's here. Yes, absolutely. Co-founder of Win by Noon. When I walked off of a coaching call and said, hey, I got to create this, I handed my current planner I was using at that time, which was just a notebook with some sheets shrunk down into it, and said, Adam, create this. And he's the one who graphically created what Win by Noon is, but he's the one who makes all the magic happen. A lot of you who are Win by Noon users know Adam because Adam does really about 90% of the training for Win by Noon for new users. He does private webinars. He launches real estate groups. He just launched a group in Hawaii yesterday. And so Adam's on the phone and on Zoom a lot with users. And he's just got really a passion to help people grow. And he just is always shocked that loan officers make it more difficult than it needs to be. He's always surprised about that. And he's been working alongside of me, even pre-Win by Noon. He was actually the marketing director for our mortgage team. And so he's got a lot of experience working with loan officers, marketing for loan officers. And he's just a big picture, a great idea thinker. And really in our office, he's all about the fun. If there's going to be fun, it's really going to be Adam who has created it. And so for that opportunity, for that reason, I'm really excited to have the opportunity for Adam to be here and really talk about what's going to be a great event. And then I'll say one last thing, and then I'll hand it over. The biggest thing about it is that, we knew this was going to be a hard year when Dave and I were initially planning for the summits. And as you all know, last year we did them separate. So if you wanted to attend the Modern Mortgage Summit, you had to pay $100. If you want to attend the Modern Real Estate Summit, you had to pay $100. And we're putting it into one day for y'all today. So it's one ticket, $100 for 30-day access, or $150 if you want a 365-day pass, which is certainly the best value. And then we'll talk later about how you can buy bulk discount tickets and some other opportunities. But the bottom line is this: at 8 a.m. Pacific, we're going to kick off and we're going to have 3 to 4 hours of the best loan officers in the country doing what they've done for the last 2 Modern Mortgage Summits, really adding huge value. And with this shift in the market, more important than ever. And then secondarily, at noon Pacific time is when it's going to be go time with your real estate agents. So I won't spoil the fun of what we're going to do with that part, but the bottom line is just know we're super excited to have something I think that's going to be tremendously, I don't want to use the word easy, but it's really the easy button, I think, to get in front of more agents. So where do you want to kick it off? Adam, Deborah, who wants to go first? How do you guys want to start?
I'll let Adam kick it off.
So I will say that when Deb and I were talking, we tried to make it as super easy as possible for people to throw an event that I think, or host an event around the Modern Real Estate Summit. And so what that really comes down to is choosing a venue to have your event at. Whether it's your office. I know when we worked with Todd's team, we had a really cool training room, but that didn't just stop us. We didn't limit ourselves to a training room. If depending on how many agents we were going to have, we would upgrade to a movie theater. Right? We did a few events at movie theaters all around town. So we had a big town. We had 4 different movie theaters in all the corners, and so sometimes we'd do them all in one day. That was a long day, but we'd space them out. And so renting the movie theater, usually movie theaters have a cool contact person to contact. So you just call the movie theater, say, who do I talk to about renting at a movie theater? And after COVID, guys, movie theaters have actually gotten really cheap to rent because they need to make some money. So now they're moving to the whole theater rental. And so that's always a great possibility. The technology is super easy. All you would have to do for a movie theater would be bring your computer up to the tech guy at the top where they do the projector, plug in pretty much an HDMI cord to your computer and run it from there. So that's my first key to really planning an event, is choosing your venue. The next is,
can I interrupt for 1 sec?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so again, so you heard Adam kind of walk you through the progression, right? If you're on a tight budget and you have a limited number of realtors, right? Look at the conference room in your office, right? You can plug in there and then you're inviting people in. And because it's going to be a short window, right? 2.5 hours-ish event, you want to get people in there depending on your time zone, right? You'll have lunch if you're in the Pacific time zone. You might have just some snacks, or maybe do happy hour if you're more towards the East Coast. So always look at it from a cost perspective, right? Our goal is to make this affordable for those of you on a tight budget, and those of you who really want to wow people, then you're going to do what Adam talked about and do kind of the movie theater idea. And then kind of in between, you've got opportunities, right? What title rep do you know that has a really great conference room that you can go to their title office and then let them provide the snacks and all the food, and then let them help invite some of their realtor partners in, right? Help make them look good. We have lots of title offices that actually buy passes for the Modern Real Estate Summit. So just think outside of the box on location. Don't get hung up, but there's no doubt, right? I know last time Dan Keller did the movie theater thing, he had a large number of folks that showed up, including some other loan officers that I think he invited that I think probably all work for him by now. And so there's different options of it, but don't overthink it. Just say, okay, where can I do it that fits my budget, that fits the image of the event I want? Because there's no doubt if you do it in a movie theater, that's like over the top. That is just an awesome way to do it. And in most of your towns, right, that are kind of midway over to the west side of the country, it's early enough in the day, you're not going to interfere with anything else. If you are doing it in the East Coast where it's in the afternoon, you're still going to be fine. They've still got that one movie on a Wednesday that no one's going to watch, and they're happy to provide you that theater. And, theaters, you can do one that holds, 30, 40 people, or you can do one that holds a few hundred. But the bottom line is you've got lots of different venue sizes and different venue costs. But I agree with you, Adam. Number one is pick the venue, because that's the key. We already picked the date for you. Normally, number one is pick the date and the subject. We already did that for you. Now you just got to pick the place.
Totally. And I also, with the budget also comes how big your team is. If it's just you, I strongly suggest keeping it small, because the main key here to this too is not only to educate your real estate agents on all the great content that we're going to provide, but being able to touch them that day. So if you're inviting 300 or 200 real estate agents to an event and it's just you, you're not going to be able to talk to all 200 people after the event, pre the event, all of that. So if it's just you, keep that in mind as well. Like maybe I only needed to invite 15 agents to this event and keep it small. That way I can have a very intimate conversation with all the agents.
That's a good point. So think about this though too, and then I'll let Deb go because she wants to jump in. The other thing you can do is you can have other people be your team members, right? Who else in your office? Number one is you could team up with another loan officer. But the other thing you could look at is, when we did our last team event in our office pre-COVID, we had Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus showed up at our office. But I had my daughter as the door greeter with our dog. And we had loan processors there. Adam was there. The whole team was there. So we had enough of us to talk to people. So think about that. Have you ever allowed your processor to meet your real estate agents? Like, that's a great opportunity. Who else do you know, right? Do you have a spouse that can be there? Do you have someone else? You've got a friend who can sort of be your person as well. Even if you had 10 agents, it's just kind of nice to have one other person to make sure that, people are chatting it up.
So the one thing I was going to add to that is I think it's important that you nail down the venue, because when you start creating your list of who you're going to invite, you need to know how many open seats you have available. And that will help target strategically of who you're inviting, and then again, how they're going to RSVP. But what I wanted to add about the venue is, even if it's in your own conference room, I'm a big believer on making it gram worthy. And that means if you have like a backdrop section that you can buy some fun props from Amazon, and you're encouraging people to take pictures. Everyone loves to have cool backdrops that they'll post and they'll tag you. And that's going to create user generated content, which is some of the most converting content that you can create on social, and it creates a buzz. Well, everybody is tagging you, and then you're adding it to your feed, and you're creating just the experience of the event that's going to continue to live on. So make it fun. And don't forget to make it gram worthy.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So date, time, subject, done. Venue, done. Anything else, Adam, we should add on the venue before we move on to sort of next thoughts?
No, I think with the venue, I say, just also master the technology of it. So if you aren't comfortable with it, maybe again, find somebody on your team that can help you out with that. But that's it. And then the list, Todd, I know you have a way of breaking down lists. I know Jeremy Forcier has a great way of breaking down his agent list of who he should invite. The one thing I will say is it's okay to overbook. So if you have 15 seats, invite 20, 25 people, because we know
the requirement to overbook.
Yeah, it's just not the 20. I always say the 20% rule, that I'm just going to have 20% of people no call, no show. So just to overbook, it's okay to overbook. And if you have everybody show up, that's a good problem to have. So
Adam knows a lot of realtors. He's just being too kind. We know that they're going to have a fire, right? We know that they had a home inspection that went bad, or they forgot that they had a signing or a walkthrough. I mean, unfortunately, that's going to be the reality. And so remember, as you're thinking about the list next, since Adam, you mentioned, I'll kind of walk through list, and then Deborah and Adam, you can kind of tag on, right? You're going to invite your best agents first, right? So, the bottom line is who do you know that you want to invite? And so you're going to invite your best agents first, right? Hey, real quick, before I'm going to fill up the room. I've only got 10 seats in the conference room. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be fun. Here's what you're going to learn. And then you're going to call them and get them to commit. And then you're going to, so you're going to call your A's first, you're going to call your B's second, and then you're going to call every other realtor, because it doesn't matter if they actually attend. The whole point is, Gary Keller used to say when it came to the 33 touch campaign, he said, I don't care as long as they see my face when they're throwing me in the trash, right? So it's the ask that's going to get them going, right? The dopamine hit is going to be the fact that they got invited to an event that you're putting on, and that they're going to feel special about it. And so you have that opportunity, to be calling. And so really the key is, number one is get the list. Number two is you got to schedule the time. And then number three is you got to think of what your script is. But I think the script probably for me would be, hey, Deborah, it's Todd Bookspan. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Hey, I don't remember if I told you last year about this cool virtual event I attended called the Modern Real Estate Summit. Did I talk to you about it?
I think you sent me a text on it, and honestly, I was so busy, I don't even know if I played it.
Well, it was just so dang good last year that I'm a host event this year, and I want you to be at the top of my list of folks who are there. We're going to have some of the top real estate agents in the country. We've got the number one realtor in the country, Jason Mitchell, is going to be a guest. We've got the number one by units, the number one realtor at eXp Realty, Veronica Figueroa, plus a bunch of other folks that you may or may not have heard of, who are just really great real estate agents that are going to add value in micro content. Most of the conversations will be 4 to 6 minutes, with then a handful being, in the 12 to 18 minute range. Would you be okay showing up on June 8th in the afternoon to watch it?
That was gonna be my next question, is when is it and what time? So it's June 8th. What day is that?
It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday.
Okay,
It's in the
great.
middle of the week, so you have nothing going on. We really, they planned it great for us. And we're having it in the conference room. We're going to have some food and some beverages, and there'll also be a couple other, local agents that I'm sure you'd love to meet.
I'm in. Put me down.
All right. I'll send you an email with all the details. What would you add in there, Adam?
no, that was awesome. I love it. If you can't get them on in that script, then they're too difficult to work with anyways.
I think the number one thing you said was having the number one agent. So Jason Mitchell, and then the number one EXP agent. That right there, I think helps build credibility of just being able to name drop. And even if you said Jason Mitchell, I think it's good to be aware that maybe not everyone, maybe they're a new real estate agent, they may not know who Jason Mitchell is. So the way you framed that, saying we're going to have the number one agent, the number one EXP agent, I think that just helps get people there. So that embedded, I don't want to say command, but those words are important to use.
Yeah, we've got other folks. Adam, who else do we have this year? We got Spring Benson. She was on last year. She's the number one agent at Real, which if you don't know Real, it's kind of RE with a funky L, but they're kind of the new upstart version of EXP. And who else do we have, Adam?
We have the guys from San Diego, which Seth O'Byrne, which I kind of have a talent crush on. His content is always like so like the execution side of what he provides is awesome. Kyle Whistle's great.
Kyle's one of the other top EXP agents. Seth O'Byrne's with Compass, I believe. He is on Bravo TV. So he does $1 Million Listing San Diego, I think is the name of his show. So he's kind of a TV guy.
Yeah, I mean, I could, let me pull up this because I don't have it all on the top of my head.
You could say Seth O'Byrne, who's on Bravo, the number one agent, Jason Mitchell.
You don't need to know them all. You don't want to rattle all of them off. So pick one or two that you feel that you connect with personally. So that's why we'll give you the list and sort of the background, and you can sort of figure out what might work for them. Certainly if they're at EXP, they're going to know who Veronica is. Certainly if they're at EXP, they're going to know who Kyle is. We've got Cody Gibson back from Keller Williams. I mean, he always does a great keynote. In fact, his keynotes have been so good. We've had him open up the last 2 years. And so it's really top talent as well. And we try to have every brand represented, so everyone feels like, there's someone up there that's wearing that matching uniform to theirs.
And we will have a show clock for you guys soon. So in a lot of cases, just showing people the show clock with a combination of who it is and what the title is will add a lot of value. Obviously, right now we're focused on realtors. How do we get realtors in this? So we're focused on real estate agents, but we'll get you the full show clock soon. And Adam, well, I think we might want to have a full show clock with loan officers and realtors. We may want to just have a realtor show clock. So we're giving everybody ammunition to just promote that part of the show, even though it's all one event, like it's a single event. So something to think about as we roll out our show clocks in the coming days.
Definitely. And also one other thing that we will have, and I told Deb and Todd that I committed to this, is I'm going to make a checklist for you guys. So if you are hosting an event, you can this is kind of my checklist of everything that I kind of go through before an event. So I will get that out to everyone too. I don't know how the best way to do that, but I am sure Dave and Robert can help get that information out to you guys.
Yeah,
we'll post it up in the group.
It'll be on social media, guys. So
Perfect.
All this content will be in our group. I'm sure Deb will integrate this into the Instagram accounts of both the Modern Mortgage and the Modern Real Estate Summit. Make sure you're following both of those on Instagram. There will be, think of those as tools. I mean, those are things that are promoting the event, but we're very intentional. Like if you're on this call and you're a manager and you want to get your loan officers on it, there will be content on Instagram, content in this group to help you get your loan officers into it. If everybody who's in it is in mortgage and you want realtors, so that's an event with an event, we will have content in all of our social media channels that will help you promote this event to agents specifically and exclusively. And we will also be promoting videos of how other top loan officers are doing, how they're promoting it and how they're making the most of it. And remember, guys, while this call today, we're focused on this one event, everything we're sharing are best practices that you can apply to any events you're doing or anything you're doing to add value to agents. So think of this as just an opportunity to upgrade how you get agents into educational experiences and how you turn that into a competitive advantage that gets you more deals, gets you more referrals, and helps you gain market share.
I mean, that's the biggest thing right now is, there's a lot of loan officers, and we were talking about this, that, they're bleeding right now. I mean, some are starting to feel the pains of maybe not doing some of those daily activities, last quarter, the quarter before, because you were still, just trying to catch a breath from the refi boom, that it's it's getting a little lean out there. So use this to your advantage where nobody likes making cold calls, but when you have something of value that you can offer, it makes it less awkward when you can make the call and reach out and just do exactly what Todd did. Like, hey, don't know if you know me. My name's Deborah Bird. Hey, I'm hosting this event. It's called the Modern Real Estate Summit. I'm going to have it, at this place at this time. I would love to have you there, blah, 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 blah. But this is your easy button to get over that fear of call reluctance because you actually have something to invite them to. And then it gives you a reason to keep following up, so maybe you make the first call, they don't answer. Then you could record a quick video like, hey, I know we've never met. My name is Deborah Bird. I just left you a voicemail, wanted to introduce myself and invite you to this really cool event that I'm hosting on June 8th. That's at my office. You don't want to miss it. It's the Modern Real Estate Summit. Shoot me a text. Let me know if you can make it, whatever. And you send a video text to them. Because again, remember, video has the most amount of influence over, just an email or a text message, because they can get kind of a feeling, maybe they've seen your face before. And then don't forget to leverage social. So my team is willing to, I know we did this last year. It was a huge success for those who, didn't know how to make the post on social, or that was a piece of friction of, how do I get the word out there? Not only with just doing my calls and sending my text and my emails and my video text, how do I also get it out on social media and get it in the hands of my title reps or maybe insurance agents who can also help promote the event? My team is willing to create a social media graphic customized just for you. We will need your headshot that you want us to use. And if you have the location of the venue already, then send us that information. If you don't, it's okay, because you can always put that in your caption. But we will customize a graphic for you with all of the real estate agents, the top guys that are going to be centered all around you. So you look like a really big deal. Even if you have one person show up, guys, it's the street cred of having your face on social with these top real estate professionals that allows you to then hand that graphic out. And you could use that in a mass email. You could send that in a text. You could, again, get it in the hands of other people who can help drive traffic there. But we will take that part off for you for free, all for free. You just have to take action and go ahead and get your ticket, pick the venue, send us your headshot. You can email marketing@plugandplaysm.com for those requests. By the way, just again, make sure you send us the headshot you prefer, your logo that's needed, and we'll take care of the rest.
I love that. Go ahead, Adam.
And I want to add one thing. So when you get that graphic, I suggest sending an email to your real estate agents. Follow it up with a text message with the graphic. And I love the video idea, Deb. But also call, right? So we're not just relying on email or text, we're calling them too. But what I like to do is I like to create a timeline. So I work backwards. I start at the day of the event, then I do a day prior, 2 days prior, a week prior, and I go backwards, right? Because just because I send that initial email out to the event, and maybe you can create an Eventbrite where it lets them register an RSVP for your event. But the key is to follow up too. Just because on the initial email they RSVP and they say they're going to be there, don't expect them to show up if you don't talk to them again for 2 weeks, right? Keep on them. It's like everything we do with the loans, right? We can't just expect people to call us up when they get an application, when they put an application. We got to stay top of mind. So keep the timeline, stay consistent with the timeline, and follow up with them 2 days before, a day before, just reminding them, hey, can't wait to see you tomorrow at the Modern Real Estate Summit event. Remind them of the location, remind them of the time. You got to pound that into them.
So
well,
true.
For those that are a little bit more savvy, and if you guys need help with this, let me know. Maybe Adam and I can do a separate webinar through Win by Noon if you guys are okay with that. You can create an event on your Facebook business page that can allow people to also RSVP or click interested or going. So those of you that, we're 4 weeks away. So like Adam was saying, when you reverse engineer the timeline, you want to think of your follow-up plan, not only for those who have committed and have said, yes, I'd like to be there. Because like you said, you have to remind them, because you'll get those text messages like the morning of, where is it at? What's the location? What's the address? If you can create an event, which you can always YouTube, how to create a Facebook event, there's ways that you can then boost the event So it also goes out to a target audience of maybe just local real estate professionals, where it's also driving traffic to get people to RSVP and attend to your event. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we are 4 weeks ahead of time. It's not, like it's next week. So you have plenty of time to work backwards. We've got 4 full weeks. You just need to make the time and schedule it in your planner of what's going to be, what must get done this week to then set up your following week.
4 weeks from tomorrow, plenty of time. You could actually, we know real estate agents don't plan that far in advance. You could actually do this in 2 weeks, but we're doing this now because we want you all to plan early. I did throw over into the chat in Zoom, and we'll make sure we throw it over into Facebook as well, a link, one of the samples of the Modern Real Estate Summit Instagram page. So if you don't follow it, you should. Deborah and her team over at Plug and Play do all of our social media for the event, but it's just great to have an opportunity to send that to, you can post it to your page, right, to promote it. Hey, this is one of the speakers at the upcoming Modern Real Estate Summit. I'll be hosting an event at, XYZ title company. Would love you all to come join it. You can text message it, you can DM it straight to folks so that they can take a look at it and say, hey, this is just one of the speakers. It's just a quick 2-minute clip of Spring's last year presentation. And, she's great. And so there's just lots of opportunity on there. Deborah, you mentioned the Facebook event. Adam, what about like Eventbrite or something like that? Do we need to do those things, or can we just call people and get a piece of paper and take notes? But like kind of good, better, best. Is there such a thing, or whatever works?
I think Facebook and Eventbrite are the best. I feel Eventbrite also has automations to where once you get their email, they can send email reminders. So you can set up a flow of emails that will remind them. So you can set one up 7 days before, 3 days before, day of, all of that as well. So that kind of takes the work load from you and puts it on Eventbrite. Facebook does the same thing. I think the boosting of the Facebook event is great, keeps it top of mind too. So it'll keep showing up on their timeline, even though they RSVP'd already, it'll keep showing up. So that's what you want. I say do both, right? So I say get people to register on Eventbrite, and you can even put the Eventbrite code on the Facebook group when you do it. But you also want their information, right? So you might have a lot of their information already because they're in your database, but if it's a new agent or you're inviting somebody new, you want to capture all of their information as well. So Eventbrite does a great job of capturing their email address, their company they work for, their phone number, their address, so you can mail them a thank you letter after the fact, all of that. So that's what we try to do, is we try to capture as much information as possible from the agents.
And then remember, guys, this is a mastermind format. We're about halfway through today's call. If you have specific questions or comments, put those in chat. And I would love to know, anyone who has promoted, whether it's the Modern Real Estate event in past years, or you do events like this, what are you doing? I would just love to see, I love Eventbrite, I love this, what are you doing to help plan it? And then remember, guys, while the last 2 weeks will really be the hot spot, because to Todd's point, agents, in many cases, they're not going to commit a month ahead of time. But remember, the goal here is not, the goal here is maximum conversations, maximum value. So if this helps you have a better conversation this week where you're delivering something valuable, and then you're creating a campaign. So when you get within the 2 week period, there's the 2 week call, there's the 1 week call, the week, hey, it's next Tuesday. And then there's the tomorrow, hey, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, or you're reminding them to come. So remember to, and I'm sure Deborah and Adam are going to get to this, but picking how you're going to actually do the event, whether you're going to supersize it or you're going to go small. I'm not here to judge. We're just here to give you ideas if you want to go big or you want to go medium, and to get it all scheduled. We have time now to get it all scheduled and to put your campaign together. And remember, the campaign is going to be multi-channel. It's got to be email. It's got to have text. It's got to have phone calls. It's got to have video. Those are the minimum. I recommend social media reach outs to people that you have social media relationships with. So anyways, questions, comments down below. And what's your favorite platform for scheduling? Let us know.
So Dave, I just want to also piggyback on that this could be, for a lot of people, this could ignite a series for y'all, that if you really thought ahead, I would want you to host an event like this every month. And so if this needs to be the one that kicks off your events for each month, then go ahead and already have in your mind, okay, this is going to take care of June, but what could we do in August so that while you have everybody there who's attended, like, we're going to get into the strategies once they're at the event and then post event. But if you could have them already RSVP for the next one, maybe you do this every like first Wednesday of the month or second Wednesday of the month. And you could do August could be interviewing an appraiser, a Q&A with an appraiser with adjustments and, a market like right now, or with an underwriter. Those are always hot ones. But keep the bus going. That educational, you're the value added lender. You're not just the take. And this is something that you believe in, growing a business together where the partnership is more effective and efficient so that you guys are dominating the market share together as a team. And the bus just keeps going every single month. And you have that face-to-face time, which is so critical with loyalty and just, staying top of mind with your relationships. I mean, it's a relationship. If it's never physical, then it's easy for some other lender to now court your agent who may feel a little neglected. So this is a strategy to also ignite the face-to-face campaign of every month that you could do.
All right, so we're ahead of ourselves, but yes, we're going to definitely talk about how to execute after the event using the event content, again, for the easy button for future events. But let's, we talked about the date, we talked about the content, we talked about the location, we talked about how to do invitations for it. We're going to get free little things from whatever you call it, free promos from Plug and Play. So that's awesome. You'll notice down below the way to email Deborah's team to get that. What's next, Adam? Is there anything else between now and the day of the event that we have to do, or we just have to talk about the day of the event itself?
I think we start talking about the day of the event.
All right. So talk about the day of the event. What do we want to be ready for? The event starts at 12 noon Pacific time. So when's our office going to be ready? What are we going to have going?
So and I probably annoyed Todd a lot with this, but I'm very.
You never annoy me, Adam.
I'm a big Disney fan, right? So I like how Disney in their theme parks do everything. They do it perfect. They make the queue line part of the ride, right? They do everything right, in my opinion. So I try to do the same thing with our events, right? So I try to keep all the behind the scenes stuff, all the stuff of me getting ready, all of that behind the curtain, right? I don't want my agents to see me struggling to get ready for an event. So I get there super early. So if we were using somebody else's venue, I was like, can I get there an hour early? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I want to get there an hour early. And I want to be set up because I know people are going to start to show up about 30 minutes early. You're going to have those 2 or 3 agents that show up 30 minutes early. So I try to have everything ready 30 minutes prior to the event, all my technology working, all of that, just in case something did go wrong. We had some time to make up for that too, right? So get there about an hour early and set up everything. Make sure you're good to go so you can hang out for 30 minutes and not have to touch anything. That's my number one. And again, keep behind the scenes. I know I was probably the only one who really ever cared about that, but that was my biggest thing. 2 is signage. I think signage is huge. You need to have directions. If you're doing it at a movie theater or even if your office and you have a parking garage, get some 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper with your logo, the event title, and some arrows, and tape them up in the garage, tape them up around the building, get them directly to your front door, right? That's key because then you don't have to deal with a lot of those phone calls of, hey, where am I at? I'm lost. Can you come get me? We're kind of trying to eliminate those distractions. And then also have signage for your brand, right? If there's the pop-up banners that scroll up, something like that, something that you can, because I always believe that we should be branding ourselves, right? Getting our brand out there. And a good way to do that is with signage. So having those banners up at the day of the event to kind of help people find you as well. If you're doing it at a movie theater, I will suggest that they are not really great at event planning. So they're going to tell you to line up in front of the movie theater itself. I always said no to that. And I said, I'm going to line up in front of the actual outside, in front of the movie theater, and have my table with my table cloth on top with a logo on it and our step and repeat in the back and all of that. I did that outside of the theater. I went and talked to the guy who was taking the tickets and said, hey, everybody's going to have a name tag. Whoever's coming with that name tag, you need to tell them to go to theater too. And I was like, you know, even if you have to slip them a little $20 bill and say, hey, take care of my people, you have to do that. You have to do that. But because what happens is they get to the movie theater and they go, oh, I'm here for this event. And the guy at the ticket stand's gonna be like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. And then they like the experience is gone there, right? So I meet them outside of the movie theater or whatever venue you're going to have it at, and make sure that that process is smooth. Am I?
No, I think you're crushing that one. The
Yeah.
movie theater. So number one, I think you nailed it on everything. If you don't, you're like, well, I don't have a sign, I don't have a tablecloth. You know, maybe your company does, someone else in your branch or a different office in your city. So that's not that difficult. Worst case is, you know, you run over to, you know, the dollar store and buy an inexpensive tablecloth to throw over a table. If you are going to do a big event like that, you know, again, it's takes more bodies, right? You've got to have someone out checking people in front. You know, if you have 200 people show up at once, you've got to have 2 or 3 or 4 people checking and giving out name tags. And then, you know, when we did movie theater events, I started out front, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies, but eventually we had people lined up for 30 minutes inside. And so then I used that opportunity to go inside, you know, and chat with them. And that was really, you know, beneficial as well. It'll take more bodies. Obviously, we already talked about it, the bigger that your event is. But again, just think through. And, you know, when Adam says that, you know, he wanted to make sure everything was particular when people showed up, it was good to go. That's how it always was. And that's, you know, having someone great on your team who does that. He thinks it didn't go noticed. Of course, we noticed that. And that's, you know, what makes it great. But it is interesting. People do show up early. My team did an event last week, and there was, I think, 60 real estate agents there. And it was crazy. Everyone was early. It wasn't like there wasn't a person who walked in right at the event start time. It was kind of wild because there was food, you know, it was a lunch event, and they actually paid. It was a paid event. They all actually bought a ticket to show up for the event. And it was just kind of wild that they showed up before the venue wasn't actually ready. They didn't have the food out because they thought people were going to show up right at 10, and literally everyone was there between 9:30 and 9:45. It was kind of crazy.
Well,
So
go ahead.
go ahead.
It reminds me of, I've been on this kick of watching the $1 Million Listing with Ryan Serhant and Frederick, which I don't know why I never watched the series before, but I love how they host open houses and they make every event. Sometimes it's themed like costumes and you show up with your favorite, you know, character, or it's an all white. And when you can make people feel like they're a part of the experience and they get to dress up or play up, that again makes it that gram worthy where everyone's taking photos, and it just makes it more of that event or Disney experience, like you were saying, Adam. As ludicrous as that may sound, but you know, agents love to dress up, whether it's to get fancy or to wear a Halloween costume in June, whatever it may be. It's just an idea to create a theme and create some buzz where people get excited, where they can start planning their outfit and, you know, get around people again.
All right. So what
I have 3 more things that I want to include on day of events.
All
One
right,
is name tags, right? You can buy the Avery name tags. I could probably post a template where you could put your logo on it. We can add the Modern Real Estate Summit logo. And you might find that to be tacky, but what's going to happen is it'll help your team know people's names. So they don't have to constantly remind, because they're going to meet a lot of people that day. And
That's so true.
They're not going to, so it'll be easier. I know when Todd, I'd be like introducing new agents, and it was easier when I had their name tag on. So I didn't forget their name when I was like, oh, this is John Smith. I didn't have to remember that or mess that up. So that's a real cheat code for me, was name tags. And then 2 other things. One, I think I'll make this too and post it, but we'll make taking action notes a sheet that you guys can pass out to the people who are attending, that they can have to take notes on, right? Like provide that for them. That's just a nice little touch. Have the pens ready, have the note sheets ready to go. And we can make a template for that as well. You can just add your logo to the top. And then the third piece is the piece that usually I always forget until the day of, and then I need to scramble to do it. So I'm trying to be better at it, but have a call to action, have a reason. Not only this event is going to be a great reason to follow up, but have something for a flyer, maybe that you're doing one, like Deb said, hosting another event, or there's programs out there that that you could get them signed up for. Like HomeBot's a great one. I had another good reason, but I can't remember what it was right now, but I will come back to that when I think about it. But have some kind of flyer or a touch that you can leave that you're going to promote as well. Have kind of that follow-up message, not only this event, but something to do with your business.
A good one would be this is what Denise had done, and I think she talked about this on the last summit, is I would print out your TCA of a seller buy down strategy right now, today, which could be something that you would follow up to help explain how the seller buy down strategy could work in today's market, so that you're not having to reduce list price, and the buyers that you have who are out looking at homes that, for maybe that 700,000 price point, because they were pre-approved on that 3% rate, here's a way and a strategy to create the same advantage. So that's just something you could have as a takeaway of, here's our number one strategy that's working right now for both buyers and sellers to win in this market. And that could be your talking point to follow up.
I think that's great. I mean, that is really want to make sure they've got something that they leave with, doesn't need to be a tchotchke. You don't need to go out and spend money on something that's, branded. I mean, you could, like, this wouldn't be a bad thing to get something like this that says, like, go Suns, you could get something like that to have. But there's some other, some kind of takeaway thing, right? If you got an old closet at your office and it's got, sunscreen, lip balm, a house keychain, something like that, you can give the swag. But in the end, I think it's just a matter of some type of paperwork you make them leave with that makes them think of you, that you can do what Deborah said and follow back up with. What about like food and beverages and stuff like that, Adam? Any suggestions on that?
I like to keep it local. So I don't like to do the Panera bread or any of those that always wind up at your agent events, right? So I find local places that I like, that I frequent, and it really, there's twofold there, right? There's one that's saying, hey, we did Miracle Mile Deli, was one of my favorites, or Chicago Hamburger Company, where there's two local restaurants, but I would go to them and say, let's bring some food in from you guys. One, next time I go in there and we would take agents in there, you feel like a superstar because they like you now, because you're their big customer, right? But two, you're helping out local and you're introducing local to other people in your industry and in your community. So I like to keep it local. I try not to go, and I know that's just a little pitch for keeping it local, but I like to keep it local with food, snacks. I mean, this is during the middle of the day, so I guess we can't have beer and wine, but if it was a little bit later, it'd be fun to have
Johnny
some
Depp
beer
would
and wine.
say it's happy hour every hour, right?
I love that.
5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
A mega pint. I would like a mega pint. Okay,
No,
so I think that's a great, it is around that lunch hour, so maybe something light. I know when I've done events and we have lunch first, it can tend to make people kind of tired depending on how heavy the meal is. So I would keep it light in finger foods. That way they don't get sleepy and restless, So that's my take.
Again, if you up with someone else too, a title company, a title rep, a home warranty company,
insurance agent,
again, you can make them bring the food, right? Hey, I'll introduce my agents, you bring the food. So again, look for the ways to offload the cost, but in the end, don't overthink it, right? I mean, worst case is, you go to Costco and you get a tray of cookies. Now, it's not going to be as cool as Adam's idea, but if that's what you got to do to make it fit your budget, then that's what you should do.
Costco cookies were always my favorite. I just would take them out of the container and put them on a dish.
Well, yeah, that way they'll look like you baked them, right? I mean, that's all. You bought them somewhere fancy. That's, you could always get away with something from there. I think that totally makes sense. So, all right, so we're 3/4 of the way through the call, and I got a hard stop at 10, so we're going to get off this call on time because I got to get ready for that Suns game. It's it's a long way away tonight.
It'd be so sad.
But I think there's probably a couple of other, major topics, and then we can sort of answer kind of some other questions. So I think we've kind of nailed the progression, right? We already know the event. We already know the date. You're going to pick the place. You're going to make the list. You're going to make the calls, right? The calls, the text, the follow-up, the social posts. I mean, that's going to be the most important part, because again, even if someone is a realtor that you don't know and they see you shared it on social media that you created this event, they're going to say, oh gosh, you know what? That Adam guy, he's pretty smart. He's doing great events to help agents in this shifting market. One thing I didn't mention before, but I don't necessarily think I would do it. Never mind. I'm not going to say. I was going to say, gosh, you could even have a kind of a pre-event, but then it's going to be a really long day. So we don't want to do that. We'll talk about that in the kind of let's shift to post-event marketing. And so Deborah already kind of gave a little bit of insight into that, right? You should use this to think about, how can I continue to add value to my agents over the next 12 months, right? When this market, when they're looking for ideas, there's great opportunity. So Adam, what is your suggestion, number one suggestion or top two suggestions on follow-up after the event? Number one, event follow-up, and then number two, the idea of maybe doing a mastermind and keeping it going.
So hopefully that you buy the influencer pack or the 25 or 100 pack for your passes, right? So
let's talk about that for 1 sec then. So,
yes.
So there are, for those of you who, we had over 100 loan officers for each event last year that we did buy either a top producer pack, which is 25 passes for $100, or we have an influencer pack, which you could split as a branch. It was a lot of branches who bought that, which is 100 passes for $2,500. So you can bulk purchase tickets. So people who don't want to host events said, hey, I'm going to be watching this cool event. I bought you a pass, and then you're going to give them a pass for the event, and then they're going to watch in their own place again. Or you call up someone and say, hey, can you come to my event on Wednesday, the 8th? And they say, gosh, I'm really busy that day. Oh, hey, no worries. What I'll do is I will send you a pass for the event. I purchased you one so you can watch it at your convenience.
So if this event was happening when I was doing your marketing, Todd, I would have done this. We would have hosted and it doesn't have to be a big event. It could be 4 agents, it could be 8 agents, but I would host a weekly mastermind or a monthly mastermind every month. And you're going to have so much content after the fact. So once the event's done, all of the videos get broken down into segments. You log on to the Leader Pass, and it looks like Netflix with all of the tiles that you can just click on and watch just that segment, right? So what you can do is when they have that pass, you can send them some homework and say, let's watch Cody Gibson's 10-minute video for this week, right? And send them that on a Monday and say, then let's meet on Wednesday or whatever day it is. Doesn't have to be a Wednesday, but whatever day it is. And then when we meet, we're going to watch that 10-minute video. Some of them are 3 minutes, some of them are 5 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be the longest one. It can be the 5-minute video. But what you want to do then, what I would suggest is let's sit down and spend an hour on creating an executional plan, right? Let's actually figure out how we're going to make what his idea said happen in the next week or two, right? And then it's your job to stay on top of them about that, right? That's your reason to reach out to them the next week and say, hey, we watched the video about doing more reels on Instagram. How's that coming? How many reels have you made? Right? Or whatever the content subject is that you chose for that week, you're going to stay on top of them for it. And I strongly believe that if you're helping them grow their business, whether they're sending you business right now or not, they're going to start sending you business. You won't have to call them and say, hey, where are the leads at? Where are the leads at? I feel like if you're just calling them and say, hey, how are the reels coming? Or how's the email marketing campaign that Seth O'Byrne talked about? How's that coming? How are we doing with that? And how can I help you with that? You're going to get their business no matter what. And that's how I feel about that. But so that's my plan. Host a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly mastermind that you can feature one of these things that they already saw, but they're going to get thrown a lot out of the day of. So you can revisit that and kind of dig deeper into each part of that content.
And so you're basically you're just leveraging the event for the rest of the year where you don't have to you don't have to be the one with all the knowledge in your head. You're just leveraging these key experts into micro content. And I will say, I would have like an exit ticket the day of the event. We didn't talk about this, that had the agent, as they left, they just filled out, what made them want to attend and maybe what's their biggest challenge that they're facing in their business right now that if solved would have the biggest impact. And that way, if you had those cards as they exited, then when you're reaching out and creating that follow-up strategy, you already know kind of what that agent's pain points are, and you can customize some of the material that you're sending to them so that, again, you are the most valuable player, like Adam was saying. And when you give, eventually that's going to be reciprocated. So that gives you a little bit more intentionality where you're giving them time to write that out, and then you just take action based around their feedback.
All right, that gave me a great idea, Adam. When we post up the note sheet for the event, let's add those questions of Deborah's on there, kind of like a keep, improve, start, stop.
Yep.
So that way you can make a quick copy of it or take a picture of it with your phone of what the agent's takeaways were. So if they say, hey, number one thing I wanted to do was learn how to do Instagram Reels, and I loved it when so-and-so talked about it, because I'm sure someone's going to talk about social media, then you go ahead and do it. Like, I got a birthday wish. I apologize. I should remember who it was, but it was from someone who watched Seth O'Byrne last year. Oh no, watched Kyle Whissel last year talk about how he's grown his database and how he keeps in touch with video. And they sent me a video text message for my birthday last week. And they said, see, Todd, look what I learned. By the way, I learned that from watching Kyle Whissel. So whoever you were, I forgot, but I did thank him for sending me the video. But again, these are things that you can follow up with someone afterwards. If you know that that's what they want to implement, then you can help hold them accountable for that. So I think it's just one more great opportunity to give someone the time and thought to think about things, right? Because it's going to be a full day and to do the follow-up. And so kind of circling back to the idea of how do you turn this into an ongoing mastermind? And so, again, if you give the people, what's your follow-up going to be? You got to follow up afterwards. You're going to send them a handwritten thank you note. That'd be cool. I'm not a handwritten thank you note person. I have a whole stack of them here that have been here in the same container for years, but eventually I'll send them out. Are you going to just call them and thank them for showing? And then again, what are the questions you're going to ask? Like Deborah said, hey, what was your top takeaway? And then like Adam said, if you actually have, you can give the gift on the way out the door of their own pass for the event. So if you bought the top producer pass, you had 25 agents show up, then you can give each one of them their own code to be able to watch it later. And then you can absolutely give them that homework. Hey, guess what? We're going to have another mastermind. It's going to be on Wednesday, June or July, whatever the Wednesday is that coordinates, with that, as long as it's not the week of July 4th. And we're going to have another mastermind, and we're going to talk about Cody Gibson when he talked about this. And then again, they've all got their video. They can watch that on their own homework. If you aren't in a financial position to buy the top producer pass, say, hey, great, we're going to have a mastermind. It's going to be in 4 weeks. It's going to be right back here at the same place, same time. And we're going to have you come and we're going to actually I'll survey all of you, and I'm going to pick the top videos, and we're going to discuss those and how to strategize around it. Because again, you don't have to bring the content every time. You show up, you watch the Cody Gibson video, and then you have lead a discussion around it. Hey, what were your top takeaways? That's all you need to ask. And then if you have the right people in the room, they're going to talk the rest of the time. And then you can say, awesome. Hey, what other challenges are you seeing in the market? Hey, is there anywhere else we can help you in the market? Just ways that you can create a conversation where you don't have to be the content provider every time. And then you use the Modern Real Estate Summit as that takeoff point. And they don't have had to have attended the summit with you in order to participate, because you actually just showed the video while you were there. So you have that opportunity. Anything else we should add on that before I kind of answer just the last couple of questions on people asking about costs and some other stuff?
No, and like you said, Todd, even if you buy the 25 pass and you only have 10 agents right now that show up, you still have those other 15 passes that you can hand out throughout the year that you don't have to necessarily get rid of all 25 all at once too.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And so a couple of things, we've gotten a bunch of texts on it. So if you're going to show it in your office or in a movie theater, you only need one pass to do that, right? So that's that. The only thing that we ask is that you don't host a Zoom event, because we're selling tickets to our virtual event. So from a request perspective, we prefer that people don't host it on, we ask that people don't host it on Zoom and blast it out there, because then you're competing. We will sell, a lot of real estate agents will buy their own tickets who unfortunately don't know all of you. And so we want to be true to protect what they purchased. As far as, kind of other last minute things, we've got 6 minutes left. So Adam, what else did we forget? What else would you like to re-emphasize?
So Todd, I was going to ask Jeremy Baxter's question real quick. He said, is there a way to host my office but also have my Arizona partners join on Zoom. Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
And so, yeah, so I just said that Zoom is not a,
Oh,
yeah, we don't,
is there a,
we don't have a way to do that and not,
You would just send them a link to the actual, you just buy them a pass for the actual event and have them log in
oh,
through the pass.
right. Or have someone local do it down here in the Valley of the Sun. But yeah, that's the one thing that we ask is that people don't broadcast it on Zoom.
The one thing that I will say then is just take pictures of when you're there. So if you're not comfortable taking pictures for your Instagram or just in general, because you think it's weird because you're pulling out the camera and taking pictures, try to get over that. But maybe have somebody else take the photos. Even if there's another agent that you know is really good at social media that's there, like, can you say, hey, can you help me out and just take photos of the event, candid photos? Just so I can have some memories for me. That's how I would sell it. But then you're also going to post that after the fact and say, thank you for everyone who's coming. You can always do, we've done it before where you actually take photos with your agents, right? With your arm around your agents, put that in a 5x7 frame and mail that out with a thank you card saying, thank you for attending the event with me. Loved hanging out with you. Would love to do it again. It's always a great thing. And now they have a picture of you and them on their office desk. So just a few more ideas.
That's a great one. When I had my radio show, that was the gift that we gave out to people afterwards, is we sent them a framed picture and a thank you card. I actually wrote thank you cards back then. And it's crazy because I still can go into someone's real estate office today and they'll have the photo of me and them. I'm standing out in front of in front of the logo of the studio or in front of our sign. So it was a pretty cool piece. And so, I think the last thing that I'll say, and then I'll ask Deborah for her final thoughts. I mean, we kind of laid out from soup to nuts, start to finish, what it is. So Adam will give us the checklist, but really we've already done the heavy lifting. The event already exists. And granted, for some of you, the $99 or the $100 cost is going to be, a barrier, but it's, for most of you, it's not. And for most of you, it's a great opportunity to do something with agents. And again, worst case is you start small in your conference room and you get too many people to RSVP and you've got to figure out where to move it to. That would be a great problem to have. But we're giving you a reason that you can make 100 calls this week to realtors. We're giving you a reason that then you can get face-to-face with realtors. And then we're giving you a reason that you can do follow-up calls to realtors, those who attended and those who didn't, right? Because it gives you an opportunity for those who didn't to invite them back, right? The other option that you do have as well, I should throw it out there, is let's pretend that you can't do it on Wednesday the 8th because you're going to be in Hawaii on vacation. You could do it the next week at any time that you want with the replay of it in your office. So you could say, hey, I'm hosting an event. And you could do the replay of the event in your conference room and invite 10 agents a week later. So you have other options to do with it. But even if you just called them and said, hey, we had this great event, we're going to start a mastermind around it, and you can invite people. So it just gives you options for lots and lots of reasons to call. Number one reason that people don't call reluctance. Number two reason that people don't call is because they're too busy. So you know me, I'm going to give you the action plan to write it in your calendar now. When are the times that you're going to dial the rest of this week and early next week to make this happen? Deborah, what are your thoughts before I hand it off to Adam for his final thoughts?
just as soon as you have that social media graphic, it also is an easy way to hit share on your social media, and you can send it to people in the DMs. You can post it on a story and ask people if they want tickets to just comment based off your story. So again, if you're nervous about calling, I always was, then again, leverage social media where you can kind of flirt, comment, engage with people, and just send them directly. Instead of a text or an email, you could send it via social. And again, direct messages, Instagram. I know Todd usually asks that, or a private message on LinkedIn or Facebook. It's a less invasive way if you're nervous about that, first interaction. So no excuses, take action.
Awesome. All right. Coach Adam, 2 minutes. Give us your final thoughts.
No, I'll just say this too. It doesn't have to be super hard, and don't be afraid to ask for help too. So I know most companies have somebody in their marketing department that can help you with the signage and the graphics and all of that as well. So don't be afraid to ask for help there. And then really just showing up is half the battle. So just have them show up, you show up, and make the impact on their career.
Love it. All right, guys. So we just laid out the perfect plan for you to implement. I don't use the word perfect very often, but that was great. We laid out the plan for you to implement, making lots of connections with your real estate partners and potential real estate partners, one-on-one, how to use social media, how to create the event, how to host it, how to find someone to host it with, where to host it, what to do, what to say. Now you just have to take action. So as always, knowledge is power, but action is what you need to do in order to take that knowledge and make it something that's not just beneficial to you, but more importantly, also to your real estate partners who are struggling. So on behalf of Dave and the whole crew at Mortgage Coach, myself, Adam, the team at Win by Noon, and of course, Deborah and the folks at Plug and Play, hope you found this really valuable. We are so excited for the event next week. We can't wait to see you there. We'll be out in San Diego doing it live, and we can't wait to hear where you all hosted events from. Thank you much. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Bye.